the ANC-led Gauteng minority government has expressed confidence that the province's 171 billion rand budget tabled on Tuesday by the Finance MEC, Lebogang Maile, will pass. The provincial government of unity has 32 seats in the 80-seat legislature, and it needs the backing of either the Democratic Alliance or EFF to push the budget through. Let's get some understanding now of what exactly is going to be at play. The MEC of Finance in Gauteng, Lebogang Maile, is my guest. MEC, good evening to you and thank you very much for your time. Let's start with just how confident you are about this particular budget being passed successfully.
Good evening and thanks for having us. And maybe just to clarify that to need the budget, we need either MK, EFF, or DA, and other small parties. So if EFF votes with us and other small parties will pass it. If MK votes with us, with other small parties will pass it. So it's not just dependent on the DA and EFF. There's also other role players. I thought I should firstly clarify that. The second point is that we have been able to talk to all parties, and they've accepted DA, and they have raised, of course, issues related to the budget. What we are happy about is that they are raising service delivery issues, and in most cases is the same issues that the budget was already addressing. And where there were minor adjustments, we had to accommodate the concerns of everyone. But we are all agreed that this budget must serve the people of Gauteng, and that this budget must be utilized prudently, transparently, in an accountable and responsible manner. And we share those principles with all the parties that have raised. There's not even one party that has raised issues that have to do with their personal interests. All of them were raising issues related to service delivery, and we all have a shared perspective in that regard.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly move from the politics, MEC, in a moment, but I thought I should raise this particular point around the politics still, particularly between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. They seem to suggest that they were snubbed or closed out of the pre-budget talks. On the other hand, the Premier of the province saying that they must stop sulking. When is this tit-for-tat between the ANC and the DA going to subside, if you will?
Well, as the ANC, we have said on several occasions, we're prepared to talk to everyone. We demonstrated that during the process leading up to the formation of government. And you all know what has happened. So there is no point where, as the ANC, we have ever said we will never talk to anyone. We are not arrogant. We are not going to take such a posture. We will engage with everyone who wants to engage with us constructively and in the best interest of the people of Gauteng. Like I've said, all the parties that we spoke to have raised concerns. And as I've said, none of them are talking about themselves. They are all talking about issues that are affecting our people. And that's a shared principle, that a shared perspective. And that's why we are having a constructive discussion. We don't want political parties. We want to focus on what are the problems and how do we solve these problems. The Premier in the State of the Province address has identified a minimum of 13 pressing challenges.
Yeah.
We are presenting a budget to respond to that and ensure that we finance the resolution of those challenges that the Premier has identified in the State of the Province address.
Indeed. And I take your point, MEC. I suppose perhaps the question should have been, why was the DA the only party that claims to not have been consulted in the crafting of this budget? Because that's what they seem to say. But let's move on now and talk about...
Are they even interested? Perhaps you should have asked them a question. Were they interested in the crafting of the budget? They are not, and I think that's the other issue, So that's why I don't want us to delve into who's important between the two parties, because
Indeed.
It seems it's becoming an issue of who must phone who. Will end up having to discuss which office must we use and all that. We're not interested in that. Are they interested in the crafting of the budget? If yes, they're welcome to participate and input in the budget. We don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Let's talk then about those 13 challenges that were identified by the Premier in his State of the Province address. And I think a key among them that stand out is the allocation of monies toward the health system in the province. How adequate do you think the amount that's been allocated there is going to be in addressing all of the issues that surround health in Gauteng? Because that is a crisis, unless you believe that I am being alarmist around the health system, specifically in Gauteng.
No, you are not alarmist for the first time, Xoli. We must give it to you. I think the pressing challenges of our province is not just health, education, health, crime, and many other areas. And this is because, including unemployment, and this is because there's at least 230,000 people coming to our province every year. And as they come to our province, it places a huge burden on the limited resources we have. So the challenge is not only with health, it's in the different areas. So the resources we have are not enough, they will not be enough. Mm-hmm. What is important is the proper and efficient utilization of these resources. And that's why we said in the budget speech today that we're going to strengthen the hand of Treasury. We're going to be firm. We're going to be decisive. We will be issuing a raft of instruction notes on how these monies must be utilized. There are certain rules that can't be bent at all to ensure that this money is used for what is appropriated for. So it will never be enough. They've got huge challenges, but we are going to be working with them to ensure. For instance, the baseline budget of health for the longest of time has not been accurate because of the challenges that we're facing, as I've said, the numbers in the province. But we have said to them we would expect that they must do, to the best of their abilities, utilize these resources efficiently, and that's non-negotiable.
Yeah. Let's conclude the conversation, though, MEC. I take your point about the prudent use of public resources, and that's what the citizens of this province would like to hear, particularly from the man who handles the public purse. But 2 billion rand being returned to National Treasury, surely that is a sore point, given the need that this province has, as identified by yourself, that so many people come to Gauteng, and so why would so much money be returned to National Treasury?
I think, are you referring to health?
Indeed, yes.
But I don't think there was 2 billion. I think there was money around the compensation of employees, I think, at some point. Mm-hmm. And there was, they also had about accruals. And we are working with them to ensure, because as we speak now, we're working on making sure that they don't overspend because their budget is overheating. We are trying to manage that and make sure that we don't have that problem. As you know, this is the first budget of the seventh administration. We presented the adjustment budget in November, and in that adjustment budget, we gave them an additional 600 million because they were under pressure and not necessarily underspending. So from where we are sitting, we don't expect them or any department to underspend. If that happens, we will definitely deal with those challenges that arise.
All right. MEC, let's leave it there for the time being. The MEC of Finance in the Gauteng province, Lebogang Maile, thank you very much for your time.